coach and choreographer who taught John Travolta how to dance for the motion picture Saturday Night Fever. Of course, Denny would have never been given the opportunity had he not been an incredible dancer and showman himself. He was hand-selected and given the challenge of transforming Vinnie Barbarino, Travolta's TV character, on Welcome Back Kotter into Valentino. The dance routines that Denny created and taught Travolta have become timeless classics. And his finger, the finger point, has become the single most recognizable dance pose in history. In fact, in 2010, the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Denny has appeared in dozens of films and TV shows, including highly rated shows on PBS, VH1, and MTV. Also, he has appeared on just about every talk show. Denny utilized his talents to become the host of the television musical variety show Dance Fever. His TV dance special was one of the most highly rated shows over a 14-year period. In fact, Dance Fever is the third highest rated show in syndicated television history. The show's format was the first competitive dance show to utilize celebrity judges and award a weekly winner. Dance Fever is credited with being the show that inspired and helped bring Dancing with the Stars, So You Think You Can Dance, and others into the recent limelight. Denny tours nationally solo and with his live show, the Denny Terrio Dance Party. Denny can also be seen hosting Time Life's music, latest infomercial, We Love the Nightlife, and numerous VH1 and PBS dance specials which are broadcast to millions of TV viewers throughout the United States and Canada. And to top it all, as if that wasn't enough, Denny Terrio was inspired by Fred Astaire. So, at this time, it is with excitement and admiration that I welcome to the stage Denny Terrio!
Thank you and welcome. My name is Denny Terrio, and you saw the clips, and I was a little younger back then. Right off the bat, I want to say hi to my friends that are sitting out here. Tommy Thompson, Frank Kamen, Sharon, how are you? It's nice to see you there. Richard Manzo and his son Richard. And of course, my favorite guy, Mr. Charles Owens. He's been with me for many years. We did the Lounge show together. And I'm just so happy to be here. I've got other accolades. I got the key to the city, Los Angeles Mayor Tom Bradley presented it to me, Rhode Island, a few other cities. I was an ambassador to the Philippines. But this holds a special place in my heart because I haven't even told Monsieur and Ron. My first year of college was right here at BJC. As you see the story, I went to college here at BJC at the time. And that summer I went out to California, and the rest is history. I used to live right across the street, and at nights I was a janitor at the Space Center. I was the only Caucasian working out there. And I'll never forget, they would put on the radio at night, James Brown. And everybody would stick their heads out of the room, and I'd have the buffing machine. And I'd be moving to the left, I'd be moving to the right, and I'd move to the right like this, and I'd throw that buffing machine out, do a split, grab the cord, pull it back up, and keep buffing. I used to entertain the whole crowd out there at the Space Center. I always could dance. I went to Titusville High School. By the way, I was actually at Sigma Kappa Phi. I don't know if we have any Sigma Kappa Phi people, but that was a fraternity back then here at BJC. And when I was going to high school, they had Gibson High School, which was across the tracks at the time. And I love the way African Americans dance. They just had this beautiful soul about them, and their dancing was fluid and rhythmic, and I just fell into it. And I used to be over there, and there'd be 20 people on one side, and I'd be on the other side, and we'd be moving back and forth, doing this, and it was just a wonderful thing. So I would watch Byron Gillian on Laugh-In, which he was an incredible dancer. The Nicholas Brothers, which they did splits, thank you, they did splits and came down the slide. Fred Astaire, I loved him. He was my inspiration because he could do 3 or 4 things and then look at you and smile, but I couldn't tap. You know, I was a street dancer. I left for California in the summer and I entered a dance contest, took 3rd place. I said, you know, this is good, $125. I didn't do anything. You know, they had a bikini contest. It was fun. I stayed. I got into the dance circuit and learned my trade that way. And I just worked out. I won the state championship, singles and couples in 1 year. I kind of cheated because they brought you out for a couple minutes, and then on the review, I had a light suit, which I controlled with a couple switches. Nobody knew this was going to happen. I asked them to turn the lights out, and I came out, and you could see these lights blinking and flashing, and I was doing the robot. Anyway, I cheated, but I won. I didn't really cheat, but I won. That was the important thing. I got picked up by Dick Clark. He had me working. Dick was a wonderful person because he loved street dancing. Nobody really was hiring street dancers at the time. And then, of course, my favorite group was the Lockers. I don't know if anybody remembers the Lockers. They did stuff like this. I get all excited. One of my good friends, I don't know if you remember a show called What's Happening, but Rerun. Yeah, he was my favorite, man. He was my favorite pal, and he was a great dancer. He was big boned, and he used to jump up in the air and come down on his butt, and everybody go, ooh, and then he'd do a split and come up. He was a phenomenal dancer. The Lockers had Slim the Robot, and they were just an incredible group. So a lot of influences. And then it was funny because I met this girl. I was living in Hollywood Hills, and I met this girl. She was on a soap opera, and she said, my manager is the same manager as John Travolta, who's doing Welcome Back, Kotter. He said, they got this silly movie called The Tribal Rights of the New Saturday Night, and they're looking for a choreographer. So I said, okay. So I went over to this manager's house, and I had a reel-to-reel. I've never been really technical. I didn't even know where the light was. So the guy looks at me and goes, well, it's nice meeting you. You know, I'll give you a call. I got so mad because I'd been eating a lot of peanut butter. I don't know if you guys are, you know, going to be in the entertainment business, but believe me, you'll stay skinny because it's, you know, it's tough, about 1 or 2% work. But I got up there and I moved all his furniture, and I think he was going to call the police on me. He had a sandwich in his mouth, and I put on Kool and the Gang, Jungle Boogie, and I started dancing and doing splits and Russian leaps. And he said, don't move. And he got on the phone to Paramount. He said, I don't know what this guy's doing. He said, but we have to put this on John Travolta. So it was funny. I'm at the studio in Doheny, Beverly Hills, and all of a sudden the door opens, and in comes John. He's got the long hair, and he's doing that Barbarina walk. He goes, I already know how to dance. I said, okay. I put on some music, and he started doing that Barbarino thing. You know, he had the plumber's butt crack and all that stuff. And I said, well, that's good, John. I said, sit down. And I started doing my stuff. And he said, I have to learn that. So, oh, there he is. This is us when we were young. That's John and me. And in the background is his girlfriend, Diana Hyland, by the way. She had breast cancer, and she passed away during the movie. It was kind of, for John, it was kind of, there she is on the back, a lovely lady. But one thing about John is he was a wonderful student, and he wanted this thing to work. And in the middle of it, they changed directors. John Avildsen, who had just done Rocky, they asked him, they said, look, I've got good and bad news for you. The producer says, you're fired. He goes, and Rocky's getting an Academy Award. This is Mr. Howard Stern. I don't know if you guys know Howard Stern. He was actually nice to me. Howard actually liked me for some reason. I don't know. This is Howie Mandel. Now, this is about a year ago over in Orlando. A good friend of mine. And I always go up to him and go, hi, Howie, how are you? And he goes, Denny, you know, and I go, yeah, I know. But I like to tease him. Henry Winkler. Do you remember Henry with the Fonz? Sweetheart of a guy. He takes a long time to get a sentence out. I'm good with that. John Stamos over here on the corner, he was on my show. Actually, he invited me over because his mother was a great cook. So I used to go over and eat dinner there. That's my friend Charlie Owen sitting out there, and Jay Leno and myself when we did the Jay Leno show. Go to the other picture though when he had real hair. I mean, dark hair. No, that's Howie. That's Howie Mandel here on the left. Mel Tillis and the girl from Night Court. I can't remember her name, but I've known these people for a long time. Oh well, that's me selling things. You got to make a living, right? Okay, what else we got here? Hit us with another one. Okay, that's my doctor. That's Steve Battleano, and of course you know the girl in the middle. Who's the girl in the middle? Paula Abdul. Yeah, I knew her when she was a cheerleader. There was like 5'9" bronze, and then there was this midget. Heck of a dancer though. There's Jay Leno, and if you see what he did right, no, go back. No, what the hell is that? No, I just, Ron, go back. Oh, that was it. Okay, all right, don't go back. Boom Boom Washington, you remember him, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs? Another one of my good friends, Larry, we call him Larry. My show was getting 13 million people every week, Catch the Fever. It was a very popular show at the time. It really was. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is some of the best choreography I've ever done. If you ever get a chance, rent The Idolmaker, go out and find it. It actually was about Frankie Avalon and Fabian, but they changed it to Cesare and Tommy D. Oh, 16 Magazine. Hey. Yeah. Oh, I remember those days. This was my marquee outside. This was on Sunset and Vine Street, TAB Theater. It was one of the greatest celebrities I've ever met, Mr. Sammy Davis Jr. He actually brought my whole family up to Vegas, and when they were walking us down, there was the stage came out like this, and they had it roped off, and we were sitting there, and he walked out, and he goes, "Hey, Denny, how you doing?" And I'm going, there's 3,000 people there waiting for him to sing. And we went back, and he made drinks for us and everything. Great guy. These are my two traveling girls when we go on the road. They've been with me for years, and phenomenal dancers, one of the best ballroom dancers in Florida right there. There's me and John again. Okay, and let's see what else we got coming up here.
That was it on the picture.
That was it on the pictures?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just go on talking.
About Frank Sinatra.
Oh, you want me to talk? I met Frank. I had a manager called George Bullets Durgan. Yeah, he managed Lana Turner, Jackie Gleason for 12 years, Frank Sinatra, Merv Griffin. He had all the big stars. But he was a little Lebanese guy. And I remember we were in a restaurant one night, and somebody stood up and yelled, "Hey, Bullets, what'd you do, swallow a Volkswagen?" Because, he had the body with but he was, listen, he took me down to Palm Springs one time, and we were in this steam room, and he was sitting with another guy that looked like he swallowed a Volkswagen. He said, "Denny, I want you to meet the Colonel." It was Colonel Parker, of course, Elvis Presley's manager. So I met a lot of people out there, but being from Titusville, I always kept my head up, but I was always a fan. I grew up watching some of the greats. Fred Astaire, my first talk show, I got to dance with Fred Astaire, and he critiqued me. I sat down next to him. On the show was a couple, Nancy and Ronald Reagan, just some couple I met. But Fred Astaire actually critiqued me and said, "You're a great dancer because you took a style and made it famous." And so that was good. I danced with Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor. It's funny because when you're out in LA, it's kind of a small area. You meet all these people. And if you're working, everything is good. But once again, dancing is sexy. I love dancing, it's sexy. But if you students are out there, intelligence is sexy too, so stay in school. Intelligence is very sexy. Stay in school and enjoy it. This is the best time of your life right now. And it's just a pleasure being here. And like I said, I went my first year of school. I went here, and so it's just a pleasure to be back and you know, have my old friends in the audience. And so I love you all, and thank you for coming.
So you were talking about all the people you met. Here's the problem. When we worked out Denny's biography, and we couldn't even say it all. There's too much to even do. And so we're so honored to have you here. But I wanted to let all of you know, he did mention 2 people that were on his show. And you said Dancing Sexy. I didn't know it was on. But see, when Dance Fever came on in my household, the furniture went to the walls, the disco ball came down, and my parents would dance. And one weekend they went away and they competed on this dance show called Dance Fever. And they didn't win. They won the semifinal thing that before.
Yeah. Well, if I would have known you then, if you slipped me a few bucks, I might have pushed them on to the semifinals anyway.
I didn't appreciate it at the time. I was just glad they were gone for the weekend and I watched the game. Now I'm all about it. We want to honor Denny tonight. If you heard some of the things he said, what we teach in some of our humanities classes and everything here, Danny bridged the gap. Denny took what was Fred Astaire and some of the older style dancers, and as breakdancing and hip hop emerged, and the disco style emerged, he was the bridge. That's why anyone you talk to, my age or older, knows exactly who he is, because he was the bridge. He had the 3rd greatest show in syndicated television history, and we want to honor what you've done for music, because there's hardly a move out there that isn't based on something you did. The Cabbage Patch, the Running Man, the finger point, all the arm stuff, everything. You did it first.
Even Tony Kornheiser, some guy did a move in the end zone. He goes, "Who does he think he is, Denny Terrio?" Now I like that because because they used to say Fred Astaire, but they do use my name a lot and appreciate it a lot.
And so we would like to present this award to you tonight. This it has an image of you
Yes.
at the top.
It's
It's been
one.
transcribed into a graphic, and it says Danny Terrio in recognition for your contribution to the arts and the humanities.
Eastern Florida State College. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ron Mansour. Thank you. Wow. This is so cool. Wow, thank you. What a great school. All right, well,
I need your mic.
and the mic, because you know what's going to come next, don't you?